Hello, today I want to talk to you about two things that are going to help your homeschooling experience to go more smoothly. In fact, just like with everything pretty much, these will help you not just in homeschooling, but in life in general. And the first one is planning. It takes intentional planning to have a smooth homeschooling experience. Now, if you are a busy parent, maybe you have a job and you have, other things, commitments that are happening and taking your time, or just even trying to manage your household day by day and your kids, it can be difficult to find the time to set aside to plan. But it is worth it, because if you are able to take some time to plan ahead, to know what's coming up so that you can make sure that you have supplies stocked, so that you can have worksheets and things already printed off, it's amazing how much that will affect your days. Then every day you're able to just step into your homeschooling experience instead of having to scramble to prepare as you're going along. So I highly suggest taking the time to plan. My husband has actually been my lifesaver in this regard. He encouraged me after my first year of homeschooling to buy a curriculum to help me with planning. At the time, we didn't have very much money, and so the thought of trying to purchase a curriculum seemed really daunting to me. Plus, I just tend to not very often go the easy way. So I had that whole first year been preparing lessons as we went along, and it was a lot of fun. On one hand, it allowed me to have some creativity and to really do some fun things, but on the other hand, it also took 10 times more the effort to make it up as I was going along, instead of just using a curriculum or a plan that someone else had already put together. So we will talk more about curriculum and what to look for at a later date, but I want to encourage you in your planning, don't go it alone either. There are so many resources out today to help homeschooling parents. So find what you can. And start maybe with something someone else created, because you can always tailor it to fit your family and to fit what you're looking for. But take time to plan. The second thing that helps homeschooling to go more smoothly, and it will seem like I am talking in an opposite direction, but I think they're actually two sides of the same coin, is flexibility. Now, the thing that's awesome about homeschooling is that you can really tailor it to fit your kids, to fit your family, to fit your season of life. If something comes up unexpectedly, you can adjust around it. So don't feel like once you've planned something that you're married to that plan, but instead use it as a guidepost. And then as you're going, take the things that are working really well and stick to those things, but the things that maybe aren't working so well, or maybe worked for a season but aren't working right now, hold those things loosely. I've discovered with our kids that some things that work really well for one don't work very well for the other. I'll never forget with our oldest, our son, one time when I was in the middle of homeschooling him, and he had younger siblings that were in the bathtub, and there were just like a million different things happening, and I'm trying to do this lesson to him as they're singing this bathtub song, and there's just a dog going in and out of the room, and there's just craziness happening around us, and I'm thinking, he is never going to learn any of the stuff. Like, there's no way he's retaining this. And so then I began asking him questions about the lesson, and I was amazed to discover that he actually had been hearing and learning the entire time, and he was able to answer every single question correctly. Now, this isn't to say that I suggest you add extra chaos to your day or to your plans, but that I learned with him there were certain things, if he was able to read something, it actually helped him to retain it. And so even when there was chaos going on around him, if I could add some supplemental reading stuff to him, he was going to get it. And then we could talk about it, and I could help answer questions and so on and so forth. But that really worked for him. I have another child who I tried that same thing with, and they weren't retaining the information even when there was no chaos happening, even when they were in a quiet place able to just read themselves. Instead, they needed the interaction. They needed to have discussion. They needed to have questions, because that helped them to connect the dots and actually to not just learn facts, but actually have understanding about a subject. So I couldn't use the same approach with either child. I could use the same overall plan, but I had to tailor it. I had to be flexible for what was working for them. The same is true for many of the different life circumstances we've had as we've added children to our family, or as we've had things that have happened even unexpectedly, where we've just had to step back and adjust, because that's the beauty of homeschooling is that you don't actually have to stick with something that you're not boxed in. Instead, you can be flexible according to what's working best for you, for your kids, for your family, and it isn't a failure to change plans. Instead, it's actually a mark of success, because you're adapting so that you can create the best positive overall experience for everybody. So I want to encourage you, if you are seriously considering or already know that you're going to homeschool this year, take some time, pray about it. Remember what it is that your overall most important values and goals for the year are, and then begin to put a plan in place. And as you are putting that plan in place, I'm just going to encourage you to hold it loosely and allow the Lord to give you wisdom and understanding as you go along. Pay attention to how the plan is working for you and for your kids and just for your life overall, for your home overall, and be willing to adjust as necessary, because you're going to find as you do that the Lord will give you strategy. He will give you wisdom for every season to be able to be successful. So, blessings to you as you plan. May there be much joy and anticipation for this upcoming year.